Shalom. Pop-up came in. All right, shalom, shalom. All right, we're the Hebrew Israelites coming in week in and week out to prophesy the downfall of Babylon the Great, also known as the United Snakes of America, the land on which we stand. And just reached a new phase, right? A new phase in the beginning of the end. So, anyway, come in week and week out, well, wake up the people on the sun, the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, who today are Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, and Speckled Bird, right? To get you to repent, acknowledge your offense, pray for forgiveness, and get back in order, the ordinance, right? Time is very, very short, all right? So with that, first and foremost, we face the east. Call Allah Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai Bahashim Akakwadash. Double honor to the elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone, even the elders that came before them that taught us is true. Shalom and salutations to all the brothers out pushing the word of truth, sincerity, the hopeful elect tabernacle of David, all right? So what I want to do first is I want to look up a phrase, all right? Because things are reaching a fever pitch. So we go in, and I'm going to type that in. Try to do an AI search. Let me see. Let's see real quick. Bear with me while I try to get this phone to do what I want it to do, which I probably won't be able to. Let's see. Fever pitch, Google. Damn. Lock it. Okay. Reaching a fever pitch. A fever pitch meaning, okay, let's see if AI is going to give it. No AI. This is an old operating system. To become very intense and exciting. Things are reaching a fever pitch. What does that mean? To become very intense. Things are becoming more and more intense and exciting, or very desperate. Ooh. And see, this popped in my head through the spirit power of Yahweh Shemel Shai, right? Things are reaching a fever pitch. It popped into my head. I'm like, okay, I'll open with that, and we'll look it up and get the definition, right? But it goes into this. In the past year, a civil conflict has reached a fever pitch, right? As one, how they use a little example in a sentence, right? And this is the example in the sentence through the, and this is spirit. In the past year, the civil conflict has reached a fever pitch, okay? To become very intense and exciting, or very desperate. Yesterday, with yesterday's happening, right? First of all, today is 9/11. So, right? And things are doing what? They're reaching a fever pitch, which means to become very intense and exciting, or very desperate, right? And here we are. We just crossed another Rubicon, if you will. So, things are reaching a fever pitch, right? What does it mean, a fever pitch? It means to become very intense and exciting, which things are. If you're paying attention, right? Polycrisis doesn't even explain things anymore, okay? Because they're jumping off 2 and 3 psyops a day, if you will, okay? To become very intense and exciting, or very desperate, okay? So now what I want to do is I want to play a little game. It's not a little game. It's just a little something that I came up with, and it's called The Prophet Says. Kind of like Simon Says. Simon says whatever, right? Well, who is Simon? Well, Simon is what? Or who? Simon is Simon Peter, right? Peter the rock, right? That the church was built on. So if Simon says, really Peter says, and was Peter not a prophet? Okay, so the prophet says, that's my circular logic. The prophet says, how do you play the prophet says? Well, here's how you play the prophet says. You go to your history, your YouTube history. Let me go to YouTube. And then you got what? How many GMS subscriptions do you have? So in your feed, right, you got nothing but different lessons being made or different street speaking. And so what you do playing the prophet says is you go by any one of the prophets. Here's Critical Race Historical Facts, which is the elder Malcolm in Chicago. And so what is his headline say? His headline, and I'll show you. His headline says, tragically gunned down while accusing God's people, right? He's talking about this guy who got shot yesterday. I can't think of his name at this moment, but I'm sure it'll be in Charlie Kirk is he's in one of these headlines. So, all right, so on the elder Malcolm from Chicago, his prophet says, tragically gunned down while accusing God's people. This is GMS South Carolina 08. This is the elder Manatazakba out in North Carolina. His prophet says fighter pilot fired for being a Hebrew Israelite. Wow. So this is the time that we're in. Things are reaching a fever pitch, right? Becoming more and more intense. We're at the point where a fighter pilot is being fired for being a Hebrew Israelite. What Hebrew Israelite is next? Okay, Hebrew Israelites are being fired from good jobs. He's a fighter pilot. I wonder why. Because if he's a fighter pilot and it's time to shoot a hellfire at a chariot, is he going to do it? Right? Anyway, let's get some more here. All right, so this is from 1 day ago, GMS Inquirer Early 2. And the lesson reads, this is a response to white people know we are special people. And that was with that ginger girl was on there who was raised with the truth, outside of the truth, right? So let's see what else we got. I'm looking for the prophet, and the prophet says, right? Okay. I'm on my homepage. Let me get my subscription. Salakia. Tragically gunned down while accusing God's people fraudulently. I left that word out. That's the elder Malcolm. Critical Race Historical Facts. Tragically gunned down while accusing God's people fraudulently. And what else? Let me read it. Right to the scattered elect. That's the elder. Fraudulently, and then angel shows its power. I'd like to see that. This is the brother, Isaiah Allah, Idaho. He's live right now. He'd probably be right there, posting scriptures, right? If he wasn't live right now. Shalom to the brother, beloved. And his lesson, back to the basics, Red Bible, understanding precepts, okay? So, I mean, he's teaching, but that brother is sound, very sound, well-rounded, very edifying. Subscribe. GMS Vegas, sit down, wait, no, he posted one. This is Remnant Saved 144. This is the Elder Wamba, the Elder Yasha Wamba in Texas. He's got in the news, psyops and enchantments, okay? An hour ago. So these are some of the prophets and what the prophets are saying. Fighter pilot fired for being a Hebrew. That's a big one right there, right? That's a Rubicon, so to speak, right? That wasn't going on yesterday, right? Or didn't. I'm sure that it happened maybe a week or so ago, and now it's just coming out. But we're in the time, right, of openly being fired. That's a tricky one. right? How do you do that? How do you, you know, there's going to be some lawsuits on that. Oh, you're going to fire me for my, he's going to say religion, right? What's a conflict of interest? What are they, how are they going to win then, all right? This is GMS on Abad. Let's see. Oh no, he's posting. He posted someone else. So. Who is that? Let's watch this. I don't know what this is. GMS Watchman. Let's watch this. It says, "You're a clown and we know what you're doing." Okay, so again, we're playing a game called The Prophet Says, right? Because you should be listening to the prophets right now. All right, they're the ones with the answers, right, about what is going down right now. Anyway, let's see. I'm going to set this up real quick. I hope. See if I can. So I can bear with. Get done. Okay, so I can. See if I can get this to work. Okay. All right. Let's play this and see what it does.
Class is in session. I don't know why you want to believe this is real, but here we go. So the guy's gonna get up. He opens it, looks like a nail file, but right? Yes, he makes it look a little physical. Throws the hat off. Now all the stabbing or whatever was up here, right? So I don't see one drop of blood. Nothing. I see some blood on from probably a packet he opened up. But look, when she gets up, there should be blood all here on the seat, but no. Right there where she was sitting. Did he stab her down there? Was it that time of the month? It makes no sense. And look, she's strong enough to have her hand up here, which is amazing. Look, she's gripping onto the thing. Okay, so let's go to part 2. Let's open this up. Now watch how fake this is. Watch. She's falling down. She's falling. There's that blood again, right? Now look, her hand is still up there. Now she's gonna reach for something here. Look, she's reaching for something. Look. And then her hand, and then she squirts whatever the fuck that was. Blood doesn't work that way, right? Why did it stop squirting? Because it was in a packet. Guys, this is so fucking easy. Up. Now watch how fake this is. Watch. She's falling down. She's falling. There's that blood again, right? Now look, her hand is still up there. Now she's gonna reach for something here. Look, she's reaching for something. Look. And then her hand, and then she squirts whatever the fuck that was. Blood doesn't work that way, right? Why did it stop squirting? Because it was in a packet. Guys, this is so fucking easy. And then the guy comes here with a cowboy hat on. I hope I didn't miss him already. There it is. Pentagram. There's your pentagram. Devil worship. What happened to all that? Look, the blood exploded out and it just stood there still. Where's all the blood? How did she have the power to reach for whatever that was up there? I wish I could go back. I can't go back, but you'll see it. Okay? Guys, for those of you that want to believe it, Benny Hollis, for those of you guys who want to believe it, I don't know why you want to believe it. It's divide and conquer. It's the same old shit. If I thought this was really troubling, I wouldn't have my 7-year-old recording this, but he already knows that it's all what, Benny?
BS. All right, so, wow, I didn't expect to see that. So
you can record videos anytime, anywhere to capture your trip.
Let's get a precept on that. 2 Corinthians 2:11. All right. 2 Corinthians 2:11, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. We know what this dude is doing. Now let me say this. This is Matthew 24:4. And Yahushua answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you, right? Why? Because yesterday there was an actual JFK-style assassination that jumped off with somebody. Right now, was it JFK style? JFK was a turkey shoot. There was more than one sniper involved, right? They had several teams from different places. And they triangulated more than 3, but it was a turkey shoot, okay? So, but yesterday, there was definitely one sniper, right, who they say they caught today after they caught several or whatever story they're telling. And he did happen to be look like an Edomite, which was very, very surprising. But the point I'm making, yesterday's snipe was real. But the one with Donald Trump, let no man deceive you. Okay? Just like the guy, right? Some people are have knowledge of wounds, flesh wounds or otherwise. So this guy is like this. If somebody jabbed you in the neck, right, and you're gonna die from it, you're gonna die because you're losing so much blood. The amount of blood, right, and the activity that was in that shot goes to, what does it go to? That's not a real situation, right? Donald Trump, the amount of blood that would have came from a round, a spinning round, would have grabbed his ear and took off his whole ear, not just pierced it, right? And cartilage doesn't grow back. You understand? And that little bit of blood, no, it would have ripped his whole ear off. The velocity alone, boom, it would have caught that thing while it's spinning and yanked the whole lobe, if not this side of his face off. But what do we get? This guy's walking away and we get a photo op. That's what came of him getting assassination attempt on Donald Trump. But he did get a photo op, right? And now he's a lowercase God, right? Right? For that. He achieved some sort of godhood status for a miracle, right? Or whatever. No, it was a setup, just like many setups are jumping off right now. Now, yesterday, what you're supposed to be able to do is discern, right, between real and what is not real. Okay, this is what does it mean, let no man deceive you? Well, they're going to be coming with some acting, right? Some psyops. Is that yeah. They've been coming with some psyops. Right? Now, when you go back and you look at the train incident and see they're using Charlie Kirk, and they're coupling Charlie Kirk with the Ukrainian girl, right? Charlie Kirk was real, right? Charlie Kirk bled out on the stage and everybody watched him. Okay, that's different. The girl, she didn't bleed out all over everywhere. We'd see the blood in the film, but what we do see is acting. We see strange behavior. Okay, we can call it that, right? Donald Trump, what did we see? We saw no blood, strange behavior. You got the photo op, but wait, fight, right? This nigga was posing. He contorted. So wait. Hold it. He said, wait, nigga, wait. Arm came up, right? If you don't know, in 2025, what is staged, and see, here's the whole thing, all right? It goes into technology. You're going to be deceived with technology as well. Let no man deceive you. Esau is out running psyops. That's what that means. Okay? What is a psyop and what is not? Charlie Kirk was a psyop, but the blood was real. The Ukrainian girl had to activate her blood, right? She had to spread it. She's touching it. If you got scabbed up, you don't have the presence to be moving and squirting on shit, right? I mean, I gotta tell that to some people, right? When you're in shock or whatever, you're not creating a crime scene as you've been trying to run to the hospital or somebody help me, not writhing and grabbing, grasping at noonday. So anyway, you gotta know, right? Enough. What is that? 1:14? 1 Corinthians. Let me see if I can just pull it up. If I've gotten there yet. 1 Corinthians 1:14. I don't know what 1 Corinthians is. It's a lot. I hope it's 1:14. That means I learned it. Nope. Oh wait, that's 7. It's a lot. Damn. Here we go. First Corinthians, let's see. Nope, that's not it. I want. Bear with me, please. Baba Shah, Baba Shah. I'll look at that. Shit. Oh my God. C. It's not working. It's 1 Corinthians 2:14, but the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of the Most High, for they are foolishness unto him. Neither can he know them, because they are spiritually discerned. So the time that we're in right now requires, right, great and acute, finely tuned, exercised spiritual discernment. You can't work your helmet of salvation. You can't shod your feet with whatever you shod your feet with, right? You can't gird your loins, right? Why? Because that's spiritual equipment, right? You have to know how to walk in the Spirit to wear spiritual body armor, right? if you have a weapon, right, and you don't know how to use the weapon is of no value to you. If you have a weapon that can only be unlocked with your fingerprint, right, and somebody else has that weapon, they can't use that weapon. Okay? Well, the spiritual weapons, right, like fasting, right? You have to understand how to walk in the Spirit, right, to receive the benefits of fasting. You understand? Like healing, for example, right? You can't just pull out the herbs and start drinking or mixing up a tea. What goes with that? What activates the tea? Or what activates the herb, for that matter, is another ingredient, right, called prayer. And that's a spiritual practice, if you will, right? Who are you praying to? You're praying to the Spirit of, right? Those that worship the Most High must worship Him in spirit and in truth, right? In what? In spirit. So you got to have a measure of spiritual discernment, right? To operate a spiritual weapon or to even receive the benefit of spiritual Kevlar, right? Otherwise, you can put it on, but what did you really put on? All right. If it ain't gonna work for you, it only works in the spirit, right? If your spirit ain't right, the glowing sword is not gonna glow. It's gonna be too heavy to pick up because there's no light in it. The light comes through you, right? You have the fingerprint. Turn the lightsaber on, and right, like what was that movie, Avatar, where you had to link up, like with the horse or whatever that was riding. You had to, like, what was that? That was a spiritual connection to use the equipment. If you couldn't get the spiritual link, what happened? And the horse start falling, right? It's the only way through Jacob's trouble is through the Spirit. Who's going to lead you, right? Who's going to say to you, there's going to be a voice behind you saying, this is the way. Who is that? Who's the voice behind you? Right? You better hope it's the Spirit and not a demon. And how do you discern that between spirits and demons? You have to have a spiritual walk. You have to be exercised in the Spirit, right? To know when a demon is dressed as an angel of light. And that's what we're dealing with right now, okay? We're dealing with, is that assassination real? Or are they running a game on the people so that they can demonize Jay, or whatever they're using that for, right? The little girl died, or was a bunch of people just acting, getting paid. This is going to change your life forever. Here's your chip. You're going to put this much on your universal basic, right? Just do this little act. Just grab your neck and squirt a little, ketchup right here. That's good enough. Now you're paid. Here's your chip. Now go to this underground bunker until it's time to come up, and we got a 15-minute city condo all ready for you. Job well done in the NWO. Now that little pop-up sign is going to pop up on my live and say, this nigga. All right? The New World Wrestling Organization. Anyway, okay, so I kind of like this, the prophet says, so let's do a little more. So spiritually discerned, you can speak on spiritual things moving forward. Shalom. speak on moving in the spirit. Let's get pilgrims, right? What does it say after pilgrims? 2nd Ezra 16 and 40. What does it say after pilgrims? After pilgrims, right? And I was telling my wife this morning. Somebody said, "Hey, the chip is speeding up. It's picking up." I'm like, because I don't do a whole lot of chip lessons, right? Because it wasn't time yet, right? And there was enough brothers doing them then. Now, okay, now everybody got to do chip videos, including me, right? And I was like, oh, when that gets here, I'm like, oh, we're gonna be close. It's here. I was the World War III guy. Everybody's doing World War III. Everybody's doing chip now, right? So that's where we're at. And we know this, when they force that chip, things go, in the words of the dearly beloved Elder Apostle Tahar, things go move quick. When they force that chip, things go be moving quick, right? Those are statements that you have to, you gotta keep that close, right? You gotta keep that little chip. Hey, you think shit is moving fast right now? Charlemagne the God and them on the breakfast, like, yeah, we had to take the chip to keep our job. What? Nigga, what? You understand? What? We said this shit 17 years ago, and now they're boldly proclaiming that they're in the NWO. Okay, 2nd Ezra 16 and 40. What is said after pilgrims? Buying and selling. Watch. So what is it saying? When you're out there being a pilgrim, don't worry about buying and selling. Okay? Why? My servant shall eat, my servant shall drink. This is how these things are connected. All right, so let's get pilgrims, because pilgrims could happen at any moment, right? But Esau's out hunting niggas today. Okay, after what happened yesterday, they're like, we're coming to get you niggas, right? They're saying we're coming to get you trans, but that translates into we come to get you niggas. Okay, understand that. If you can't spiritually discern what Esau is saying by we're coming, the only word they ain't saying is nigga. We coming, nigga. That's the only thing that they're not saying. They're leaving that out. They want to say it. And how do we know? How do I know that that's what they're saying? Because that main weirdo, right? Out of a few people that are speaking on behalf of Charlie Kirk and saying that we're coming, that main weirdo, what did he do? He connected the girl getting stabbed to the Charlie Kirk thing, saying what? You niggas were coming for you. Spiritual discernment. It's easy. And that's what you need to make it through Jacob's trouble. Here's Pilgrim going straight into the chip. Listen. 2nd Ezra 16 and 40, O my people, hear my word, make you ready to thy battle, and in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth. Now listen, he that selleth, he that what? He that selleth, right, let him be as he that fleeth away. And he that buyeth, what is that? That's buying and selling. What do you need to do that? This is saying don't do it. Listen. He that, I'll start at 40 again. 2nd Ezra 16 and 40. O my people, hear my word, make you ready to thy battle. And in those evils be even as pilgrims. In what evil? In those bad times. What bad times? Jacob's trouble that's here now. So any day now, you're going to have to strike out on foot. Beat a hasty retreat. O my people, hear my word, make you ready to thy battle, and in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth. He that selleth, let him be as he that fleeth away. And he that buyeth, as one that will lose. There's your buying and selling. What do you have to do? He's saying, don't do those things, right? Don't trip on that. I got you. And then it says, he that selleth, let him be as he that fleeth away. And he that buyeth, as one that will lose. Okay? He that occupieth merchandise as he that hath no profit by it, and he that buildeth as he that shall not dwell therein. And it goes on, he that soweth, if you planting crops, you're not going to get to eat them. He that soweth as if he should not reap, so also he that planteth the vineyard as he that shall not gather the grapes. So, while basically this is saying, hey, it's time that you show me this extreme faith. And this is for all the marbles, right? Had my daughter, right before I started this live or this camp, just cutting all ties with me. She's 16, right? Just saying exactly, making it clear to me that, you know, hey, we're going our separate. I'm like, okay. Let's see how that works, buddy. Anyway, that's the time that we're in. All right. And the Wadi Abashim Al Shah that he prepared me for, been preparing me for. Anyway, this is spiritual. You have to be spiritual not to take the chip. You have to be spiritual to have the faith that the Most High is going to feed you. Right? It's easy to say that shit is easy, but guess what? You're going to have to put it into practice. Right? And if you haven't been practicing, right? If you got to go 3 days without food and you can't go a half a day, you ain't been practicing. You're supposed to have been practicing this thing. So that when them 3 days, I do 3 days like this. Yeah, we might not eat for another few days, but I know I can do 3. I know I can do 3. All I got to do is a couple of berries and I'm going to be good. I thought I ate, you know. I chewed something. You have to be spiritually prepared, right, to fast. The spirit is part of fasting. See, those that have spiritually prepared to fast, right, they will be telling themselves on the 4th day, oh, I'm just fasting. I'm not starving because there's no food. I'm just fasting. I'm good. And they can tell their body that. Their body goes, okay, yeah, I'm just doing the fast. We're good. But those that don't have that spiritual exercise, right? Their body's going to be telling, oh, shit, hey, you got to go do that lick. You got to go bang. That lick. Hey, you got to go pull that lick. You got to go pull that lick. What lick is that? What lick are you going to go pull? This lick. Oh, you got to go. I got to go do what I got to do. You know what that translates into? Nigga, I got to go do what the fuck I got. Your body is going to be telling them parasites that you haven't dealt with. There's a reason why we went into health. The elder apostles, see, I tell my wife this all the time. Every word that comes out of my mouth are instructions for you to make it through Jacob's trouble, and which is true. If you're a prophet of the Lord, you spend all day warning a motherfucker, and they'll swear to God that you are lecturing and you just attacking me and just like, look, it's not me, bitch. That's the Spirit of the Lord warning you for the last time. Because tomorrow, motherfucker, is a whole different day. And when them chips come out, it's going to be even quicker than that. Right? A line of motherfucking dudes waiting to fucking fuck some nasty box. And they don't give a shit. And I'm talking about a line of 40, 50 motherfucking scalawags. Right? And you thought you was going to enjoy it, but guess what? You better go watch that movie where that bitch got fucked to death. She thought she was going to enjoy it until she got fucked to death. And I'm talking about her head. So, wow. This is 2 Ezra 16. Whew. 16 and 22, I'm going to just read this out right. See, because this is being said, shit. Oh no, I'm sorry. I jumped up into 16. Anyway, 2 Ezra 16 and 22. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine. Well, here we are talking about famine and not taking the chip, and you're going to be fed. But guess what? At the same time, over here, niggas are going to be dying of famine. And we're already looking down the barrel at the Weimar Republic, right? Go watch some of them videos about everybody, Edomites, Jakes, complaining about going to the grocery store and coming out after spending $200 and you got about 4 items. That's gonna get worse. You're being forced to take the chip, okay? Or do what? Die of famine. A lot of people are gonna die of famine, right? And not take the chip. See, a lot of people are gonna take the chip without being spiritual. They're going to not take the chip. I ain't taking it. They're going to have enough wherewithal not to take the chip, right? But for all the wrong reasons, right? Not take the chip and not know the name of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. What does that mean? Right? Unto them it was not given. The rest were blinded, right? Who's that? Well, Nathaniel. They hated the name. Right? We didn't take the chip. We didn't take the chip. We now know that it's the mark of the beast. We sorry. We didn't take it. And you still died. Right? You reap what you sow. You don't get no pass. How many people did you talk into taking that sauce? Right? Moron. Right? And you rallied against the chip. Ain't no microchip, but now they might sneak one in and we didn't take it. But who did you cause to stumble though? Right? You know you gotta be held accountable. Right? Anyway. For many of them, 2 Ezra 16:22. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish. The next words are of famine, but let's just stop before that. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish. A lot of people are going to die. Taken in great number. What is that, 2? 2 Ezra 2? Or 5? No. 2 Ezra? 2 Ezra 2. Salaki, bear with me. Taken in great number. Yep. What is it, 5? Salaki. 2 Ezra 5 and 1. Nevertheless, as concerning the tokens, right, the signs that the Most High is coming back or sending the Son, behold, the day shall come that they which dwell upon the earth shall be taken in great numbers. So I'm going to read that again. Where was I? 2 Ezra 16:22. Right? Listen to the language, it's the same. My mind notices things like that. Let's see. 2 Ezra 16:22. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine. Okay, let me read this one. Okay. 2 Ezra 5 and 1. Nevertheless, as concerning the token, behold, the day will come that they which dwell upon the earth shall be taken in great number. Back to this one. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish, right, of famine and of blah, blah, blah. Famine, let's see, shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. There's so many things that the people are going to perish from, Okay? And famine being one of them, right? And famine being one of the worst. That's a weapon. Famine is a weapon of Yahweh Shem Shah. A weapon of punishment. A scourge, if you will. Right? The scourge will not, what is it? Will not, that'll come to. Anyway, so food, right, as it becomes worse and worse, you can't go to the restaurant and get real meat anymore. You want carne asada and they're giving you brisket or something, you know, substitute. Shalom, shalom, beloved Azal, Idaho. Shalom, beloved. Yeah, everybody knows that we're eating non-food, and it's gonna get worse. And then the chips, and then the 15-minute cities, and then Z-bugs. Okay, and whether you know it or not, you're probably eating Z-bugs right now. No, you are eating Z-bugs. It's in all the flour. It's in everything that they make. You've been eating Z-bugs. Okay. Want to know what Z-bugs are, right? You got to get with your boy Cotton Schwab, Klaus Cotton Schwab of the NWO. He coined the term Z-bug. You're gonna eat Z-bugs. Okay? So famine is a treacherous weapon, right, in these last days. It's a treacherous weapon of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. A treacherous, judgmental. Okay, man. If you don't know how to go a day, right, you're gonna be a problem with whoever you're around. Right, you're gonna make life miserable for those around you. Here it is. One dude, I don't know. I could go 3 days. You got one woman that can't go half a day. She is going to be the death of you. Okay, trust. What do people do when they start getting hungry? They fucking lose their money, start doing shit and getting delirious and, you know, panicking. Right? Desperation sets in. That person becomes a liability. Right? That's the type of person that becomes accountable or takes a chip. So, man, we're in some interesting times, man. Very, very interesting. What did I read? I thought I read 22. 2 Ezra 16:22. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. Many swords. We've been, you know, those of us that came in, let's say this, before the drones, right? When I came in, drones were, you know, not what we see today. That drone was that little, you know, get a little little quadcopter, right? Let's say 2010. What were drones in 2010, right? So when you say the sword, shall the sword destroy, right? Well, what we learned, sword is, you know, it's any, you know, weapon, right? But while we were being taught that it's the modern day gun and it could be a bomb, right? But drones weren't in the picture yet. So now you strap a bomb to a drone and you got a whole new furbished sword, right? And why am I saying this? Because a nigga think he's safe. Oh, we got switches. You got switches. Come on, bring what you got. We got switches. First of all, that's stupid. You couldn't win a gunfight with a switch. You might be good at it because you've been practicing, but drones. Yeah, niggas are not thinking about drones that are coming. When you're making your pilgrimage plan, right, there's a video. I think I posted it. It's on my community page, whatever. How to escape a drone in the wild. Right? I saw that, I'm like, oh shit. You just watch that on the GP. What if you gotta try to escape a drone? See, you have to have that in your head. When you're walking, you'd be like, damn, gotta consider drones. How are you gonna get discovered? Who's gonna discover you? It's gonna be a dog. They've been outsmarting dogs, but niggas know how to outsmart a dog. You get in the water, you go back, right? Get them off your scent. Niggas know that. What do niggas not know? What are niggas not thinking about? How to escape a drone. What's gonna get you out there? Okay, what does a drone say? What does a drone swarm say? When you hear that, oh shit, drone swarm. You get low, you get out of sight. You gotta know these things. Get a little notebook. What am I gonna encounter as a pilgrim, right? What do I have to watch? Drones, robot dogs, tripwires, night vision. Right? And you don't need to know about anything. All you got to do is your faith got to be hella strong, and the Most High is going to see through. But it doesn't hurt, right, to have some tactical preparedness. What does a drone? Go watch a video on how to evade a drone. How do you evade it? Stay in the bushes. Stay in your thicket. Stay in your hooch. Right? When a drone comes, do what? What to look for. Not bad thing to know some of these things. You will be approached by drones as a pilgrim. No? How do you disable a drone? There's videos on that. And I'm not saying, right? Hell, the drones are gonna come. What if you have done what is pleasing to Yahweh Shem Shai, them chariots are gonna come, take the drones down. I understand all of that. But you're gonna be tested to your limit. So why not be ready? Be ready for the test. Understand that it's coming. What's going to get you out there? A drone. What are they sending? They're going to send drones. What should you do? You should have a little drone information, right? Gonna be a pilgrim, right? Gonna be drones out there, right? Yeah, well, a little camouflage knowledge, you know. A drone picks up a heat signature. A drone has a camera on it and somebody operating and they're looking, so that can be overridden, you know. But if you're not thinking in that direction, if you don't think about things like drones, or that you got to be a pilgrim and what's going to get you out there, hypothermia is going to get you out there. You got a little sleeping bag that's this big that's going to keep you warm just in case a cold snap jumped off. I ain't worried about that. Most High goes, yeah. If you're right. If you're right. But it doesn't hurt to have a little tiny, thermal bag. That was what? You got a stick, right? As a pilgrim, you got a little fucking handkerchief, right? Well, what's in the goddamn handkerchief? Well, a little tiny bag that when it gets cold, you can't have that. I don't need that up. Okay. All right. I hope you have what you do need. You understand? Proverb. Spirit said, read Proverbs. Proverbs 1 and 7. What's the operative word? The operative word is instruction. Proverbs 1 and 7. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. But fools, that's not the operative word. But fools despise wisdom and instruction. How do you make it through Jacob's trouble? Well, you got to be spiritual. You got to be a pilgrim. You got to be a spiritual pilgrim. These are the questions you should be asking yourself right now. Right? If these things aren't going through your head, you're not trying to get to a chariot. Every day, this should be on you. Well, any moment, I'm going to be a pilgrim, and I got to watch out for drunk. If these things aren't going through your head, you're going to worry, right? But wisdom and knowledge, right? You're going to worry, and then eventually, after you done worked yourself up into a frenzy, then the wisdom and knowledge kicks in and says, oh, I'm tripping. Most High got me. Yeah, but see, it's the worrying. You need that. Worry, but don't worry. Okay? Worry, but don't trip. Okay? What do I mean by worry? Stay alert. Okay? The Most High is not just going to deliver you, and you don't have any cares. No, you're going to have cares, right? Nothing that is too much for you, but you will be tested. So when you're being tested, you can't just, well, Most High didn't even go feed me. See, that's Jacob like, you know what that's called? Lack of faith. Yeah, he is going to feed you, but after the test. After you pass the test, then you get the food. After you eat your meat, then you can have your pudding. And you're lucky to be getting some meat. After you eat your cardboard, then you can have your dessert. They eat mud pies in Gaza right now. All right? You don't know how to fast. I bet you're going to be down sifting dirt down there, trying to bake. I'm finna make some cookies. Hilarious, isn't it? Hey, so let's go back. What does this mean? What am I saying? Here's the instruction again. 2 Ezra 16 and 40. Don't despise instruction. Listen close. You keep going back to Peter, do you love me? Nigga, you just asked me. Peter, do you love me? Nigga, you just asked me that. 2 Ezra 16 and 40. O my people, hear my word. Here's the instruction. Make you ready to thy battle. What does that mean? It means you better be thinking about drones when it's time for you to go out on foot. If you're not worried about drones, you might not make it. Drone technology. That's just one of the things you got to worry about. You got to worry about Esau, the so-called white man, as a roaring lion, roaming the earth, seeing who he can devour. And you have to have spiritual discernment to know which one wants to off you. Yesterday, right? I was like, there was a couple of 2/3 Jakes, Issachar, gang banging, challenging, and it almost went south, and so I was worked up. And then I got to the other side of town where there was nothing but Edomite, and Edomites were looking at me crazy, and I'm like, where's this coming from? Where's this coming from? And I didn't have enough time to wrap my head around Charlie Kirk when it happened yesterday because I ran into some problems on the computer and I'm distracted. So when I'm out and these Edomites are looking at me in a very provocative way, in a way that more than normal. And I noticed, and I'm like, this was after the whole Issachar thing, and I'm like starting to react. And it didn't occur to me until much later that I'm supposed to be knowing right now that shit has changed, right? And you have to move different now, right? And that challenge is going to be different. The threat is going to be different moving forward. So a different level of circumspectness must be adhered to at this point. And those phases are going to come. The next one is going to come quicker, right? And we'll know, right? The next level could be shooting, right? The assassinations are political assassinations, right? The Minnesota case and da-da-da-da. Should let you know the climate and how it's progressing and where it's going. We'll see between now and next week if anything else, pops off or additional or copycat or whatever they're going to do, because they're clearly doing psyops, right? Right? The Ukrainian girl is a psyop. Right? More is going to come out about that, right? But it has served its purpose. What was its purpose? To inflame these mongrels to come after Jake. And it worked because they threatened, we coming, we'll bring your ass on. Come in like a whole flood, my enemy. Right? Because we want that. All right? One way or another. But when we go into we, who's we? Right? All Jake wanted, really, but for different reasons. 2/3 wanted because they want that fight. It's long overdue. They want to get that get back. There's nothing wrong. The 1/3 we want it because we know it must come. This place is not gonna be freely traded without absolute chaos, destroying everything. So if you're not prepared for that, if you're not prepared for what is coming, which is nothing pretty about it at all, and if you haven't prepared, Shalom, if you haven't prepared, it's crunch time, man. So your thoughts should be this, okay? Yeah, you got a job to go through. You have a life in the world that is quickly coming to an end if you can't see that. So you got to get your priorities straight in this. Very soon you're going to have a job. If you're one of us, of the hopeful elect, you're going to walk away from your job very soon. It's going to come to an end. What are you going to do after that, right? And when are you going to leave? Be even as pilgrims implies you're going to leave, right? Whether they're knocking on your door, whether a flash flood comes and wipes you out, right? Here's what's going to happen to everybody. Most High is going to make you. Nobody's going to stay at the pad and say, it didn't get me. No. It says right here, you're going to be a pilgrim. sit at the, oh, I hope it don't come here. No, it's coming to everybody. You're going to be tested. Nobody's going to sit at the pad and, oh, I painted some blood on the door, so I get a pass. You might get on a chariot, but you don't get no pass. You got to go through hell. Endure, what does it mean to endure until the endure what? Endure Jacob's trouble. Is Jacob's trouble a cakewalk for anybody? No. You all got to go through it. And you'll be tested to your limit. And if you don't understand that these are the rules, oh, but I got faith in it. I've done everything right, so ain't nothing going to happen. No, you're going to be tested to your limit. Matthew 24. You just stay in there. Well, we're in the time of Matthew 24. And have been. 13. Matthew 24:13. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. Does that sound, endure to the end, does that sound like anything nice? No, it says that everybody's going to catch hell. Specifically designed for them, but nothing that they can't. If you man the fuck up, you women included, right? Sometimes a woman got to man the fuck up. What does it mean to man up? It doesn't mean to become a man. It means to do what is necessary to complete the task. Okay? Just like I was going to create a lesson that was called Being a Good Woman is Essential, right? Even for women. Right? For a man of the Lord, being a good woman is essential. No woman asked me, what are the things that are pleasing to the Most High for a woman? And they just started coming up, bum, 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 and they're coming up for me. And I know how to go and search them out. Why? Because I'm trying to be a good woman. Right? You say that in front of a 2/3 motherfucker, right? Don't know how to process that. Right? Sometimes a woman, you got to man up. You're going to have to man up in Jacob's trouble. Right? What does it mean? A woman is going to have to man up in Jacob's trouble. Let me give you a scenario. How a woman has to man up in Jacob's trouble. Isaiah 4:1. Does that make sense? You got to man the fuck up with the program. Get ready to do some shit you ain't used to doing. Man up, woman. Or woman up, man. You ain't being a good woman to Yahweh Shem Yahushua. You don't understand that language right there? That's that old balance. You want to learn how to be a good woman, women that are striving for righteousness, you want to be you want some instruction on how to be a good woman, look at that man of the Lord. Watch that man of the Lord not miss a camp, ever. Watch that man of the Lord jump to attention when he thinks that he didn't, damn, I forgot to do my lesson. You jump up scared as hell, apologizing, praying, get on your knees and hope that you didn't do something wrong. That's a good woman. That's a man of the Lord that is a good woman to his husband. Confused yet? You thought pronouns and all of that shit. Hey, over here in this truth, we know when it's time to be a good woman. Right? The men do, for that matter. Anyway, Matthew 24:13. But he that shall endure until the end. That means this. Everybody's going to be tested, and you have to make it through. You have to pass them tests, and they're not going to be simple. You're going to be tried to your limit to see if you desire, right, the reward. We're going to see how bad you want it. You got to be willing to die. This goes with that. Revelation 2 and 9, right? This goes with that. What do you mean endure to the end? You got to endure being in a line for a guillotine. Well, I was in line for that guillotine, and at the last minute, door opened up, and the nigga just pushed me, and I fell, stumbled my way out of the door. That would have, 2 and 9. That's a lot. 2 and 10. Revelation 2 and 10, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. You are going to suffer. Shall. What does it mean? You shall suffer. It means it's going to happen. You're going to be out there suffering. Whether it be in a concentration camp, a prison, or out in the wild, or in Alligator Alcatraz, which is all of the above. Okay? See how they got that worked out? Revelation 2 and 10. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. To your limit. Right? Behold, the so-called white man, the devil, shall cast some of you into prison that you may be tried. What does that mean, you may be tried? Torture. Sleep deprivation. Starvation. Right? Warden, come here. You can jump on this nigga over here. You got to endure. It says, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you in prison that ye may be tried. I got you. The warden's like this. Okay, you guys know what to do. Cell 15, free commissary, whatever. And ye shall have tribulation 10 days. What does that mean? What does that mean? That goes into this. Matthew 24 and 13. But he that shall endure until the end. When you're in prison being tried, what are you doing? You're enduring till the end. Hopefully. What end? Well, you might die. That's an end. I endured till the end. Until they put me to death. It means that too. It means I endured all the way through and I made it. You might die and make it. You have to understand that. I don't want to die. I want to die. Hey, dying in the truth. That's a W. You got to understand those things. If you're just a bitch ass nigga and you ain't tough, how are you going to make it through Jacob's trouble? You got to toughen up. Man the fuck up. Get ready to be hungry. Practice your shame face in the mirror. Write down a list of things that are pleasing unto the Most High and be able to recite them while you're fucking starving. Oh, come on. I got 10 grumbles and now I need 10 things. Now recite 10 things that are pleasing to the Most High so you can get through the hunger. That's food. What does feed my sheep mean? Right? Teach them this truth. Right? Guess what? You can live on this word, this food, this manna. It will sustain you. You understand that? How's the Most High going to feed you out? Oh, don't worry. My servant shall eat. This is food. This is comfort food. This is comforter food. See? So I'm mad as hell about my daughter, and this is endure till the end. Endure till the end. Guess what? We're at the end. So rejoice therefore. All right. 1 Peter 4 and 7. therefore sober and watch unto prayer. Ecclesiastes 12:13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear the Most High and keep His commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. Philippians 2:12. Wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. So, shit is about to spiral out of control, and you got to let it happen and be smart, know how to move moving forward in the spirit. Don't get drawn in like I was yesterday, right? And know when you're being drawn. Look the other way. When the mean mugs come, look the other way, keep it moving, try to get out of there. And if they pull at you, insist on getting away. Don't get pulled in like I was yesterday. Moving forward, because it has began. All right, it has began, and according, to the precepts, it's going to progressively get worse until everybody feels it in their own way. You're going to have your own specially designed chaos going on in your world. Everybody's going to be going through that as an individual. Right? And collectively. So, it has began. Things are different yesterday than they were the day before. So we're a day into this thing. Notice how people are looking at you different, okay? And that's the spirit, that's spiritual discernment, that's spiritual awareness. All right, and that's how you have to move going forward. All right, so with that, we hope that the electro edified you brother and sisters face the east and say, Call Allah, Yahweh, Shem, Yahweh, Shabbat, Shem, Kakadash, double honors to the elder apostles, the elder bishops, great millstone, even the elders that came before them and taught us this truth. Shalom and salutations to all the brothers out pushing the word of truth and the sincerity of the hopeful elect tabernacle of David. Shalom.